Hey everybody, welcome back to the rest of the story. I'm going to address a question I've been getting for a while now, is what do I do in my free time or as a hobby? I don't farm 100% of the time. I can't. So it's actually nice to do something that takes my mind off of farming. Seems how farming doesn't exactly always pan out to be, fun times all the time. There are down times and not so great at times, and sometimes it's nice just to have something that you can focus on that your mind isn't concentrating on so heavily. And that is, I doubt many of you even know what these are. These are model kits. They're also known as gunpla. I started doing these originally back when I was in middle school, and the quality was never there. So I actually quit. And I actually started making these when I started making these back in 2013. Towards the end of 2013. Now, these models here in particular, I'll tell you a story. Let me discuss what you're looking at. You're seeing two of the same kit. This one and this one. This one is what the story will be about. I'll get to it real shortly here. I made this model for my brother. It was the third model I ever made. If you guys can't tell, the quality could be a lot better compared to this one. After I've made many models over a few years, I actually made this first one for my brother, and it happened to fall off a shelf. So what I'm doing, or what I did, they actually released a newer version of this model. This is version 2.0. This is actually the first version. And this one little guy back in here is an older model kit that I just finished for my brother. The blue and red is actually a candy coat I did. Both these kits are actually going to Ryan tomorrow. But I've been holding this guy off, well, both of them off for quite a while, because I wanted to compare the two for you guys, because Ryan asked me to fix his other one that had gotten broke. Ryan doesn't make these, I do, and he asked me to make him one. I put a lot of work into this. They actually take, on average, if I start from start to finish, they take at least 3 weeks to do. This guy back here, for how small he is, he actually took a while longer, because the blue and the red parts on him, I actually had to do a silver gloss coat, then a transparent blue or red coat, depending on what color it is. Then I had to go through and do a top coat across the whole kit. And this guy gave me a lot of grief. It took me probably 2 months to do him. I'm actually going to be happy to see him out of here. I actually have a bit of a backlog. I have 6 kits sitting here waiting, and this is where the nerd in me comes out, but I actually have 4 more kits on the way that are going to be delivered this fall. I actually pre-ordered them because they're limited editions, and I actually bought them 6 months ago, and I haven't seen them yet. But rest assured, this is going to be I'm planning on this being the only video I do about my models. This is a farming channel, but I just wanted to show you guys that, it's fun. It's fun, and it's actually a good thing to have a hobby. It really is. These guys, I put a lot of work into them. I actually have a big display case in my living room that I have a whole bunch of them in. I actually have about 14, 16 of them in my display case, and I'm gradually replacing my older ones with my newer, better quality kits that I'm making. I've been really pushing to try to get these two guys done so I could get my desk cleaned off, because harvest is here, and I honestly haven't. I don't want my desk full of model part kits. But let me spin the camera around and I'll tell you guys a quick story about this one. Alright, as I told you, I'm going to tell you about that model kit I just pointed at. As I just said, that was the third kit I ever made. I used to make them when I was a kid. The quality of the model kits were near as good as they are today. I do customize them a little bit. I do paint them. I do different decals, and I top coat them. I don't get too carried away, but I do like to change them up a little bit. So nobody else has a model that is the same as mine, so it's unique. That third model kit that I was just pointing at, I actually had to order it. All these kits take about 6 weeks to get here because they all come from Japan. But back when I was milking cows, back in 2014, it was actually the first part of February, that model actually came in the mail. The UPS guy actually delivered it. But the thing is, he didn't deliver it to my place. He actually delivered it to my mom's workplace, because for some reason he had to make a delivery where she works, and he just said, "Hey, I have a box for Travis. Would it be okay if I just dropped it off here so I don't have to run out to your guys' place, or to his place," because I was living here at the time. And Mom said, "Yeah, of course." So it was about 6 o'clock at night. I just got done milking cows, and my mom called me, texted me, either or, and she said that, "Hey, I got a box for you in the house. Why don't you come in and grab it?" Because this is when my grandpa was alone. Grandma wasn't around anymore. So my mom would stop after work, stop in, check on him, say hi, see if there's anything he needed. And you all know that I always had, and still do have, my cell phone on me. But even from the time that Grandma was gone, we always kept tabs on Grandpa. We always made sure that he always had contact with any of us at all times. He never really was alone. We didn't let him be out of contact with any of us. He always sat in the house and watched me outside. I actually remember that quite vividly. He would always sit with the windows open, and I could see him sitting in his chair watching me work outside. But I went in the house, and Mom and Grandpa were talking, and you know, when you get older, you don't like staying up as late as you used to. See, like my schedule is, my alarm clock goes off at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm up till midnight, usually every night. Well, last night I think it was like 2 in the morning. I just couldn't fall asleep. But 2 o'clock or midnight every night, for me, it is pretty common. My grandpa, my grandma, my grandparents both, they were typically in bed by 7. Pretty common, 6, 7 o'clock at night, because they would get up at 3 o'clock every morning. I mean, Grandpa, even after I was running the dairy, and Grandpa wasn't coming outside, because this is the middle of winter, and he had 3 bad discs in his back. His hips were shot, his knees were shot. The cold made him hurt. So he stayed in the house. And my mom went and, would see him every night, check on him. Well, that night, he was getting ready for bed. He just was heading to bed. He puts that BioFreeze on his knees, and my mom had a bunch of that BioFreeze. She brought it in for him because it comes in like a toothpaste tube, but it helps like with your achy muscles. And I went in the house, same as always. I mean, wasn't shy, wasn't bashful. I mean, he's my grandpa. I mean, I walked into his house like it was my house. Walked in and she had my box holding that kit back there, sitting on the kitchen table. Nothing spectacular, nothing really crazy. Went in. I knew exactly what it was, and I was looking forward to it. It was my third model kit I was looking forward to start working on. And Mom and Grandpa were still up, and Grandpa was already heading towards his bedroom, and I said goodnight to him, but he went in and I went ahead and left, and about 5 o'clock the next morning I got a phone call from him saying he fell. So I went and got up to the farm as fast as I possibly could. He was sitting next to his bed there, and he just wasn't. He said he was really dizzy, and yeah. That model kit was that reason that model kit came in the mail. Was the reason that actually was the last time it was. That model kit being delivered was the last time I saw my grandpa alive and well, and walking. That was the last time I saw my grandpa walk, was actually when he walked into his bedroom. You don't think much about that while it's happening until, 12 hours later he was gone. But that model kit behind me, it fell off a shelf. It's unfortunate. It happens. I'm not going to get rid of it. I'm actually going to box it up, and I'm going to put it up in storage up in my house, and I'm going to hold on to it for a while because it has a little bit of meaning to it. Yeah, it's really not in that bad a shape. It's got a broken fin on its head, and I did a really crummy job of appreciating it because I was in this kick early on where I wanted to look like they were kind of banged up, because they're, not to nerd out on you guys, but these are actually war machines. They're meant for combat. They're meant for, it's just trust me. Well, I like the idea of when I first started making them, I actually tried to appreciate them a little bit, and I'd gunk them up a little bit, like on the seams and on like make it look like they were seeing some explosions. And it seems like that was my third kit. He doesn't look that good. I got away from doing all that, and as you guys can see with this new one I did for Ryan, it looks so much better. I started putting some decals on them, and I did a better job. I got better at top coating them. I hit them with a dull coat. But, yeah, I'm actually happier with how the second one looks. Kind of disappointed in myself for letting myself just do that to the first kit. But it wasn't the first kit that happened. It was actually, I made about 8 kits before I actually started to get better at it, and I started being a little bit more careful. These model kits are expensive. They're like, on average, I pay $60 for them. The most I've paid for one, sitting down, the most I've paid for one was actually about $120. You know the funny thing? I actually paid that much for a kit for Brittany, because that kit is it's a pink model. It had a bunch of pink on it, and I made that one about 2 years after I really started making them for Brittany. So that's actually out underneath our sitting on our TV stand. So otherwise, I average about $80-90 for them. I have currently I'll have about 10 by the time we get done with harvest, because those other 4 are coming sometime between now and Christmas. But yeah, I gotta quit buying and I gotta start working on my backlog. The way things are shaping up, and for how busy we're getting here, how busy I've been, I'm hoping I can knock out at least half of the pile I'll have back here this winter. That's what I'm planning on. This summer, it took me all summer just to do these 2 little kits, and not necessarily because they were that bad. It takes about 3 days for them to cure and everything when you spray them on and stuff. But I know this video is kind of long, because I'm gonna put that first video in, so it's gonna be a long enough video. But it's my hobby. I actually do this more than I do play video games. Normally, I play Farming Simulator and build model kits. So, yep, it's the nerd side of Travis. Yeah, gotta have something that isn't farming all the time, because I need something to take my mind off of the farm. Otherwise, I'd probably fry my brain. Otherwise, your brain sits and ponders on stuff about the farm all the time. Well, that's enough of that. I've been planning on wondering how I'm going to do this video for the past 3 months now, and I'm kind of glad that I got it covered. On a serious note, anybody has any questions about them or anything, any serious questions about them, says I will answer them. They are kind of fun to do. They're not planes and they're not tractors, but makes me unique. Alright guys, you know what I'm going to say, right? Take care, take it easy, keep in touch. I appreciate you watching. I'll talk to you guys next time.